After a long, long bus ride, getting on a bus at 3 o'clock in the morning with no sleep, the guys with limited sleep and some who were unable to find any food after arriving at the hotel, they are at a definite disadvantage in this ball game. I think some of the players might have been a little intimidated about going out, wandering through strange neighborhoods in a country where they don't speak the language to try to find food. And they had to walk quite a ways to find places. Hopefully they didn't wind up where I wound up. I went down, walked a few blocks, and found a little hole-in-the-wall pizza place. Tasted really good, but I've been sick on my stomach ever since. Thought I'd share that with you. I got back to the hotel. Someone asked me where I had eaten, and I told them I found a little pizza place, and they said, "Oh, no, not that one." I go, "Why is that?" They said, "Everybody who eats there says they get sick." Oh, yeah, thanks. Now you tell me. Here in Quebec, where in between innings they were having the pizza scream contest, the people who could scream the loudest in the crowd getting a pizza. All I can say is I hope the pizza isn't from the same place where I had my pizza today. Or the next contest they'll be having is the bathroom scream.
The Rox had lost the last 4 games of their homestand, and in the final game, manager Ed Noddle got ejected from the contest, which might have worked out pretty well for him. He had an event to attend that night at one of his favorite watering holes. So, in retrospect, the best plan might have been to party with Ed at Joe Angelo's bar, drink all the way up until 3 a.m. when the bus was supposed to depart for Quebec. But no, I went to bed early. Still only managed a couple of hours sleep on the floor of my closet. And I still hadn't learned how to sleep on the bus, so I only managed another hour or two during the 8-hour drive to Quebec. But at least I made the bus. Carlos Rosario, the team's leading hitter and run scorer and the league's leading stolen base guy, did not.
Carlos Rosario did not accompany the team on this trip. According to most of the Rox records, Rosario is 22 years of age. How old is he really? Who knows? Carlos was very concerned all week long about whether he had the proper documentation to cross the border. Of course, that procedure has been stepped up after the events of 9/11. The Rox lineup takes on a much different look. Their table setter, so to speak, is out, although they've got a pretty good one to stick in there in Chris Cosby. Torres at second base may actually be an improvement defensively. It'll be interesting to see how the Rox fare in this series without Carlos Rosario.
So the Rox were without Carlos, and they had yet to replace pitcher Marty Weymouth, who had just retired. What else could go wrong? Well, let me tell you. The hotel in Quebec had no restaurant, and there were no restaurants close by. The air conditioning did not work properly in most of the rooms, which shouldn't have been a big deal in Quebec, right? But we got there during a heat wave, and temperatures were in the 90s. In Quebec! Canada. So walking a mile or two in the heat for food was draining. Diarrhea from pizza caused more dehydration. At least L'Estade Municipal had an air-conditioned press box. Unfortunately, visiting radio didn't enjoy the AC. We were put in a little wooden box in the stands where little or no scoring information was shared. I mean, think Steve McQueen in The Great Escape, only a much smaller sweat box. Hey, sick on my stomach, sweat pouring off me onto my scorebook, no AC. I was just hoping for a quick game.
This is an old ballpark, and when you have old ballparks, you can count on obstructed views, and I've got more than my share of obstruction from the broadcast booth here. There's a pole actually just behind third base, blocking my view of the left fielder. And a big pole right just to my right, blocking my view of first base and right field. It'll be interesting to see how the Rox hold up as this night progresses. It is a very, very muggy night. Driven into center field for a base hit by Torres. Trevor Hall being waved home. The throw will come into the cutoff man. Hall will score, and the Rox are up 3-0. Well, maybe this is the secret to the Rox success. No sleep, no food produces results. Quebec leading its division by 5 games, appearing well on their way to winning the first half. And Quebec batting .299 as a team. 1-1 pitch. Misses up high. Thrown out to second base by Rosario, and they have got the runner off of second base. Rosario picks off a Moan off second base with a beautiful throw. The 2-2 pitch. Misses inside. Thrown out to first base by Rosario, and he picks off another runner. Mel Rosario has picked off 2 in this ball game. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Dahlberg. That ball is crushed to right field. Going back is Cornelius, and the yard is not big enough to hold that one. A 3-run homer for Jake Dahlberg, and the Rox are out in front 8-1. Well, this is definitely not a smoke-free environment here at L'Estade des Municipal. Man, people lighting up all over this ballpark. Wondered why I was so nasally tonight. Rox leading 8-7. Potential tying run at second base. Connor Brooks has the sign from Mel Rosario. Now the 1-1 offering. Swung on and lined to the left field for a base hit. Here comes Scalabrini. Nicholas up with the ball. Scalabrini will score. The throw will come into second base, and Pujols is ruled safe. The tag looked like it had been applied by Torres. Bustos and Torres are furious, not getting the call at second. An RBI double by Pujols, and it is a tie ball game. Well, the Rox still in a good situation. 1 out and a runner at third base. Now Dan Graham. Graham hits a ground ball down to first base, gloving it, stepping on the bag is Cotton. The throw to the plate is not in time. Davis scores, and the Rox have the lead. Some sort of dance contest going on. I couldn't tell you what the heck they're doing though. It's all French to me. Now Rochford really working rapidly. He wants to get out of here. If they can get a strike here, the ball game is over. 2-2 pitch from Rochford. In there, strike 3, ball game. Hopefully someplace nearby will be open, getting these guys some food.
Well, as it turned out, we found a 24-hour McDonald's on the way back to the hotel, and even though I dislike fast food, I fully enjoyed my McPoulet, or whatever McDonald's calls its chicken sandwich en français. The next day, it was back up into the 90s again. I exited the hotel in the opposite direction this time in search of food. First stop looked like a restaurant from the outside. I walked into a dark, smoky room, about a half dozen guys standing in there, and it was like a scene from a suspense movie where someone walks into a room and everyone just stops and stares. Yeah. Bonjour, gotta go, oui now. So I made a quick exit from what I believe was a bar, walked another mile or two and found a Chinese buffet. Pretty much like a Chinese buffet in any other part of the world. Enjoyed that, and then it was back to the ballpark sweat box for game 2.
That'll bring up Mike Davis. Struck out and has grounded out. Thank goodness. Not that he's 0 for 2, but somebody has just delivered some water here to the press box, to the broadcast booth. Whatever you want to call it, the sweat box. Okay. This might get me through another few innings, and barring extra innings, we may be in good shape tonight. Swung on line down the right field line. That's a base hit. That could be trouble. Graham comes up with the ball. Rounding second, headed for third is Cotton. He's being waved home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is cut off. The throw to third is in time to catch the runner Pujols at third. But the tying run does score. Nice throw by Graham. Was cut off by Hall, who quickly wheeled and threw out Pujols at third base, but not before John Cotton came across with the tying run. We've completed 8 here in Quebec. The score, the Brockton Rox 4, the Quebec Capitals 4. The 1-0 pitch. Bustos swings away, sends it deep to left field. Going back is Koffler, looks up, and the yard not big enough to hold that one. A home run for Saul Bustos, and the Rox have taken a 5-4 lead. Now the pitch to Pujols. Check swing. Did he go around? Rox are coming off the field. Yes, he did. Strike 3. That is the ball game. What an effort by Dwayne Rochford to pick up the save, and the Rox win the ball game 5-4.
After their second straight extra inning win, we were driving back to the hotel right past the McDonald's. Rich Sever is asking Ed, are we not stopping for dinner? And Ed's reply was, hell no, I'm ready to go drinking. If they're hungry enough, they'll walk. Great, no dinner. The next day was getaway day. We had to be out of our little hotel rooms by 11 a.m., but our bus driver, Jeff, stepped up huge. He took some of us to a mall, and this just wasn't any mall. We spent a couple of hours in this huge, clean, air-conditioned mall with lots of great scenery and a full-size roller coaster. It was so bizarre. You'd be walking through the mall, and all of a sudden, whoosh, this thing would whiz right past your head. Amazing. And best of all, I found a Mexican restaurant in Quebec. Things were muy bien. No extra innings needed for Game 3. Kevin Goodrum pitched 6 scoreless frames for his first win of the season. The Rox winning 7-2 to sweep Quebec. They were out of the running for the first half title, but after this trip, Brockton knew it could overcome adversity, could win without food, without sleep, and without Carlos. Be sure to click the subscribe button to follow my wild and wacky journey with the Brockton Rox, because more episodes are on the way. Thanks for watching.